Step into the vibe, oh yeah. Feel the rhythm rise high. We're living life, let's fly off tap life. Sky's the limit, no shy. Off tap life.
Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. Now this one right here, I'm going to talk about 3-1 Atlas a little more because there is something, actually a few somethings that I haven't heard anyone say yet. And I want to present this to anyone who wants to hear, anyone who wants to think outside the box a little bit, because I think I figured it out. I have a theory. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's a theory. I'm not a freaking astrophysicist. I'm not no astronaut. I'm no scientist. I'm just someone who I'd like to think is pretty intellectual. I've got a pretty high IQ and I know a few things. And, I've been following this whole 3-1 Atlas thing. I've listened to tons of people who are supposed to be a bit of an expert on this stuff and who knows a bit about space and all this kind of stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I've heard a lot of people saying a lot of things, but I haven't heard anyone saying what I'm thinking. Now, that doesn't mean there's not someone out there saying these things. It just means I ain't heard them. But let me tell you my theory. Okay, guys, listen to this. Now, check this out. Okay, now for starters. So my mind started really thinking this early on when I first heard that 3-1 Atlas was headed to Jupiter. Like it's changed course correction. It's changed its direction. And they kept saying if it changed its, course, the direction when it was behind the sun, and when it came out, if it had changed, its course, and that surely means it's man-made. I mean, well, not man-made, but, artificial, right? Now, there's a lot of things that make this seem like it's artificial. Not just one thing. There's quite a few things that make it seem like it's artificial, right? There's like 15 anomalies now or something like that. 15 anomalies. Like it's getting out of hand. It's crazy, right? Like at this stage, you can't possibly think it's still a comet, right? But listen to this. So it's changed its it's done a course, correction or change of direction or however you want to call it, and it's now headed towards Jupiter. Not just any part of Jupiter, but like the sweet spot of Jupiter, you know what I mean? Where like it's within the I guess what do you want to call it? The safety spot, the G spot, if you will, kind of, I guess. Like it's in a very good place. Now, my theory, this is what I'm thinking, okay? Because I'm thinking, now, if you were an alien, okay, if you were an alien and you were wanting to explore a different solar system, okay, like if you wanted to perfectly, just find the perfect parking spot, Jupiter has to be the spot, right? It is the perfect spot. Okay, like, I mean, you couldn't think of a better place. It is basically kind of like the center of our solar system. It is the biggest planet in our solar system. And when I say center of our solar system, I'm not talking about the sun, obvious, I'm talking about planet-wise. I'm talking about the sun. Okay, we know the sun and everything revolves around the sun. But speaking of which, Jupiter also has the strongest gravitational forces. It's the strongest, or like it's outside of the sun. It is the most influential. That's the word I want to use. Influential. It is the powerhouse, right? In fact, it's so influential that sometimes it can like affect what the sun is even doing. You know what I'm saying? Like it is a powerhouse, right? Now, if you wanted to park yourself somewhere really good, okay, think about this. Jupiter, you can easily send probes or little ships or whatever you got on your big 12-mile size mothership. You can easily send some towards Pluto, some towards Mercury. Like just easily, right? Just each direction. It's a perfect kind of like spot to kind of just park and just explore our solar system. Also, if you have developed a technology which, to be able to travel great distances across space, you probably have also figured out how to utilize a planet like Jupiter's gases to your advantage. And let's not forget about all the moons of Jupiter where we already know there's probably water. And as far as our knowledge, in our mind, life needs water to exist, right? So maybe it's true in other, places as well. Well, we know that Jupiter has potentially water on their moons. All right, we know this. So also, there's this whole, like, if you think about it, right? Like, let's say, because at the end of the day, if it is a mothership, if it is alien, there's only really two possibilities. Either they are friendly or they are bad news, right? Either way, Jupiter's a great parking spot, right? Because let's say hypothetically they are bad guys. If they're bad guys and they want to, do something to Earth or whatever, hypothetically, not saying that's the case, but, we're just having a little theory fun here. If that's the case, well, just like military, you're going to send out some reconnaissance, right? You're going to find a place and get to know your enemy a bit more, maybe, right? You're going to go and do a little reconnaissance. They don't know what maybe we're fully capable of yet. Maybe they just want to do a little homework, if you will. So they're parked out in Jupiter. Again, perfect place to kind of, if you got the technology that they have, they can easily get to Earth quickly if they want to, right? Like probably very quickly. You got to think about this. You can't think about it like our technology. You got to think about, obviously, they've got, if this is a mothership and the things that we've seen, they've got to have some crazy powers. You know what I mean? Some like technology and the ability to do stuff that we can't do. So Jupiter, park at Jupiter, they do their homework, do their reconnaissance, plan whether they're planning. That would be a great place if you're bad guys. If you're good guys, now let me throw this out there. What if they've come here to help us? Right? Like what if everyone always instantly thinks that aliens are going to be bad news, but what if they're actually come to help us? And maybe they've come to help us because this is where it gets even more interesting, right? What if they're the ones responsible for us being on Earth? What if they're the ones responsible, like somehow, some way, we're on Earth because of them? And they're our guardians, and they are the ones who have come back to protect us because they know there's a threat coming. And so Jupiter, again, a great place to kind of set up a defensive base, a defensive point, like think about it, right? Like Jupiter is such a, like they were saying, like the odds of this thing just suddenly deciding to change course and head to Jupiter in this sweet spot, the Grange point, I think it's called, or something. Potentially L2, L3, I forgot the all technical, some real thing they were saying, but the odds is like basically zero that this has happened. And a bunch of other anomalies, the odds are basically zero that that's happening. Like the odds are one crazy billionth or something to, like, just impossible, right? Like just impossible. So this thing is like just doing all this stuff that basically, I don't know, you got to start thinking at some point that we're dealing with something that is not potentially natural, right? You got to just start thinking that way. So if you start thinking that way, you start thinking, why Jupiter? Of all the places that you could park, that you could be headed towards, why Jupiter? Think about it. Also, think about this. If you've come from far away, let's say hypothetically, wow, the wow signal, that it came from that area, apparently, that area of space, like that's already just, what's the odds, right? It's come from that area of space. Now, if you, just like us, right? If you're planning on going, like we want to go to the moon or back to the moon or to Mars or somewhere, we plan this stuff. We plan our trips, and they could have, like in 1970 something, when that first WoW thing happened, they could have been like, okay, we're going to plan a trip down to Earth and let's investigate this or something like that. Like they could have been all this time planning this whole situation, right? Like it could be something that they already probably had the technology to do, but they had other priorities and other things they wanted to do, and now they finally decided, well, it's time to pay Earth a visit, especially because our technology is advancing, and maybe we are now, like, another possibility is that maybe we're seen as a threat. Like our technology is just advancing. We got AI now, and AI is advancing super quickly, and now they're like, okay, humans about to freaking just do some crazy stuff now that they've got this AI stuff going on and things like this. We have to keep them from crossing past Jupiter. They can't pass Jupiter no more if they're probes or anything. You know what I mean? Like, don't forget, we had a big milestone the past few days. We had Voyager officially become 1 light year away from Earth. Like, in the big scheme of things, that doesn't sound like a lot, because so many things seems to be hundreds and millions of light years away and all this crazy stuff that's just hard to even get your mind around. Like, it was funny, I was watching about Kepler freaking 452b or whatever that one planet is that's supposed to be like super Earth, like a super Earth, and it's like it's the only planet orbiting this particular sun that they say is just perfect. It's in their sun's Goldilocks zone or something. It would be perfect, blah blah blah. Come to find out, it is like 17, what they say, some crazy amount, 1 million, was it 1 million or something, 1,700,000 or 17,000 light years or some crazy amount. And they said, even if we could figure out how to travel at the speed of light, it would still take us like 1,700 years to get there. Something crazy, right? I'm like, why are we even looking at this? Like, because apparently, if you follow the story there's so much about space and stuff, right? But if you follow what they say, apparently it's impossible to travel at the speed of light, because the faster you go, mass becomes heavier, and therefore the mass time, based on your mass and the weight and the speed and the some technical stuff, like it would not be possible to even travel at the speed of light. Now, what we are hoping we can do is kind of fold time and space, but that's a whole nother thing. Be able to fold it in kind of, so if you got space that's really far over there, like think a piece of paper and there's like an end at the top of the paper and the bottom of the paper, and you want to fold it so that those spaces are now close, folding time and space, and then you're not breaking the laws, of time travel or time and space, or just the speed limits, and the way that it's all kind of technically it exists. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't be breaking any rules of what technically they say is possible and isn't possible, if you were able to bend time, as opposed to attempting to travel at the speed of light, which apparently is not possible. But who knows what's really possible and not possible, right? They say a lot of things not possible, and the next thing you know, hey, look, wow, so you guys can fly in airplanes. Look at that. Look at you. Okay. No one thought that was possible probably at one point, but hey, there it is. So anyways, so I don't know. My theory is, though, like I said, I just think that what if this is all by design, that going to Jupiter, that parking at Jupiter, because Jupiter is the perfect place, and that is a great place to set up camp, if you will, in that area. Whether or not it's around Jupiter's orbit or whether it's actually one of Jupiter's moons, it is a sweet spot to park. Whether you are playing defense or offense, it is a great spot. Everything you need potentially is there. And stuff that we probably don't even know. You know what I mean? Like, we probably have no idea. Also, if you were curious, let's just pretend like, okay, so even if it wasn't the wow signal that made them want to come, and let's just say hypothetically they were just wanting to, like us, they're curious and they want to explore other solar systems and other parts of the universe and things like that. Well, I mean, in our solar system, Jupiter is the biggest planet. Jupiter is, a huge gas planet. And another thing is, just because we need air and certain things to survive, maybe a different type of life form, Jupiter's, the perfect spot. They thrive in the gassy planet type environment or something. You know what I mean? Or they've, like I said earlier, figured out how to mine the gases and things to travel. I mean, there's so many possibilities. We just don't know. It's all just kind of guessing right now, really. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I mean, the possibility of this being something that's going to be life-changing for all of us is gigantic. And it's something that everyone should really take into consideration, because we're on the verge probably of potentially like something that's going to change the way that we think about our existence and the universe. Like, just going to change everything. And I really think that there's probably a huge chance that we're talking about a real, actual alien mothership, not just some little ship. We're talking about something that's like 12 miles in length, or whatever you want to call it. Like, I mean, something just gigantic. And yeah, I think that people really need to start paying attention a bit more and really start, thinking about this in a more serious way, and stop being in denial and wanting it to be a comet. Like, stop wanting it to be something. Just because you want it to be something doesn't mean you're going to be able to make it that, right? Like, just chill out with the whole comet thing, dude. Like, it's not a comet. If you think it's a comet, I don't know what to tell you. You're way off track. It's not a comet. It is not a comet. It is not. So, I don't know. I just find that interesting that Jupiter, of all places, perfectly centered, the biggest planet in our solar system, had potential water and gas and fuel, and who knows what other things that they probably figured out. I mean, also, Jupiter has that red spot, that red storm thing. And if we can see it from Earth or something, and maybe they've seen it too. Maybe they've seen it and they've been curious, like, what the freak is that? What's up there? Or maybe they know what's there. What if they've got a base there already? You just don't know, man. Like, what if they're the reason that red dot exists? You ever think about that? That red storm, that red crazy storm action or whatever? What if? And also, the other thing is, like, people, if you think it's a comet, hey, congratulations. Maybe that's what they want you to believe. Maybe they want you to believe that's a comet. Maybe they want you to think that it's, because they're in disguise. I was thinking about this, right? Even if you were bad guys or good guys, like in this story of potentially, aliens, and if you were bad guys, right, you'd wear a disguise. You wouldn't want everyone to know of your existence, so you might just be like incognito. Let's try to look like a comet so we can fly through, because there's probably some areas of space where there's some other alien races and, civilizations that are probably really dangerous or something. So, they travel, and they're traveling in, like, hiding, you know what I mean? Because they're like, yo, man, we don't want to attract any attention. They camouflage themselves, right? Let's pretend to be a comet, you know what I mean? Not a comet, but, their idea of a comet, some type of flying rock object thing, like whatever. I don't know. Or potentially, right? What if you say they're the good people And they're like, well, we don't think Earth is ready to know about us. They're just not. They're not mentally ready. We see what they do on their planet. They are not ready to know about us. They just ain't ready. So, they don't want you to know. They don't want you to know. They don't think you're ready to know. So that's why, hey, they'll believe we're a comet. Let's just tell them we're a comet. They'll believe it. They don't have the technology to actually even tell the difference. So, and that's where they're wrong, because we've been able to acquire quite a bit of information about their little ruse, haven't we? There's a lot of things that we figured out. 15 things that don't add up. 15 things that says you're not a comet. You know what I mean? So I find that all to be quite interesting, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's actually like, and the other thing that you have to think about as well is that, like, they probably already know we exist too. Like, if they have the technology, I think they have, they obviously probably could even hear us. They probably have the ability to pick up our radio signals. They probably have the ability to freaking, like, they know of our existence, and again, they don't want to make it obvious for whatever reason, bad or good. They don't want to be obvious that they're coming here. And also, if you were traveling from out of, again, our solar system, or really far away, right, like hundreds of light years or whatever. Now, let's say hypothetically you have figured out a way to travel at extreme speed, like speed of light, or you have figured out a way to do that Star Trek thing and just time warp, speed warp kind of thing or something. And maybe, again, because it went to our sun first, right? And it had to kind of go to our sun. Like, what if the sun was, wherever it came from, had to go our sun, like, kind of use as a braking type situation to slow it down, or to course correction to get it to come back to Jupiter, so that then it could actually be perfectly parked where it wants to be. So what if this was all planned? Again, it had to go to the sun because it needed the sun to help get it on course to be in Jupiter, right? And that's the thing, like, we're going to learn a lot, because I tell you one thing, if this thing gets to Jupiter and it doesn't keep going, and suddenly it's parked in Jupiter, or we suddenly see some things orbiting Jupiter that wasn't there before, some type of probe or something, or something has changed, you know what I mean? Like, if this mothership just goes around across the all the universes and all across space everywhere, and just drop off different types of monitoring probes, or some type of little stations or something where they can keep track of everything that's going on around space, or maybe it's like Google Maps. They're mapping it all out. I don't know, but, like, there has to be a reason, right? Like, this is too much of you can't, one or two things happening, you can say that's a coincidence, but when you get 15, we've passed what is considered a coincidence by that stage. So the fact that it's going to Jupiter means something, especially, again, that it's a sweet spot. It means something. And again, I can't think of a better parking spot in our universe, especially if you don't know it and you're not, like, you're not from here. There's probably everything you need to survive between Jupiter and its moons and different things like that. So it's quite interesting, man. Like, I could keep on talking about this. Like, I should probably really just do a live stream and just keep talking about it and bouncing ideas off with you guys, and I should just do that. Let me know if you guys would be interested in a live stream where I'm just talking about 3-1 Atlas, and we're bouncing ideas, and we're just kind of talking about it, and we're just kind of just brainstorming of it. And we're talking in live time about this whole thing, because this is serious, man. Like, this is big stuff. Like, and and it's kind of crazy because it feels like NASA's hiding something, and I don't know about you guys, but I don't like the feeling that NASA's hiding something. Like, I feel like NASA surely has better pictures. I feel like they surely know that this is, a spaceship or alien something. They definitely, surely know it's not a comet. Like, they surely know. Come on, don't treat us like we're stupid. I don't know. Anyways, I have more ideas and stuff. I'll make separate videos. I won't put them all in this video because this video end up being freaking 4 hours long. Like, I have a lot of thoughts. I have a lot of things. Like, I literally I love AI right now, right? Because like, anything that I think, I can fact check it quickly with AI. And I can come up with to see if my theories make sense. Like, everything I was thinking, AI was like, yeah, you're spot on. Jupiter is the biggest planet and it would be a great place to park. And it actually, yeah, it has a sweet spot and all, it confirms so many things, like the resources, right? The Galilean moons, that's what it's called. The Galilean moons, especially Ganymede and Callisto, are rich in water ice, a critical resource that can be harvested and converted into breathable oxygen and rocket propellant, hydrogen/oxygen, right? This allows the mothership to refuel and restock its fleet without needing to travel far. So, like, the things I was thinking, AI is on board with my thinking. AI is like, hey, that's actually logical, what you're thinking. Logistical centrality. I don't know if I'd say it like that. The Jupiter system is the first major hub of mass and resource an alien ship would encounter upon entering the solar system. It offers a balance far enough from the sun's most intensive radiation, but close enough to launch craft inward quickly. I said that. I mean, that's what it's called. Yeah, I said that earlier. The Lagrange points, right? The L4 or L5 points are known to cluster around Jupiter's L4 and L5 points. The mothership could potentially park at one of these stable points. The Lagrange points. There's so much information. I mean, metals and stuff, that you could use for construction. Things like what if you wanted to set up some type of base? Like, we want to set up a base on Mars and stuff. Like, what if you actually want to set up an actual presence, in our solar system, for whatever reason, bad or good. Jupiter's vacant. Their moons are vacant. Like, we haven't been able to colonize any of those places yet. We haven't been able to do it. So, you go somewhere like that and you can set up your whole infrastructure, whatever you're wanting to set up, and you don't have to worry about us interfering with it because we literally can't do anything about it. We can't get to Jupiter and stop you or do anything at this point in time. We can't do anything. We just have to be here and accept the fact that someone's moving into our solar system. Think about it, guys. Like, seriously. And maybe that's the reason why NASA's secretive. Maybe they don't want us to know the truth because the truth is they know that there's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing we can do to stop it. There's nothing we can do whatsoever. Right? Like, I'll say that for another video because I would talk about that kind of stuff. Like, what would be the reason why NASA or the government doesn't want us to know the true nature of 3-1 Atlas. It's crazy. Anyways, guys, I hope that you hope you find this stuff as interesting as I do. I really find this whole 3-1 Atlas thing interesting, but I've always been fascinated with space and things because I know, and this is going to be something that will be controversial. I know some people aren't going to believe this, but I'm telling you, I know I'm not from this planet. I know I'm not from here. I know 2,000,000%. I don't know how I got here. I don't know exactly the whole story behind it, but I definitely know that when I look out into space, that I feel a connection like that out there. There's my true home. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel something. And I definitely feel like I'm not from here. And I definitely can't be from here because a lot of stuff y'all do is just crazy, man. I don't find it relatable whatsoever. I keep saying it all the time. I'm like, man, I just can't be from here. There's just no way. Anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in. I'm going to end this one. I'll share more 3-1 Atlas videos later with more of my, because I have so many thoughts, so many. Like, I could talk about this for ages and ages and ages and ages. So, like I said, I might do a live stream on it where I can really just, like, for 3 hours or something, we could just talk about this. I'd love to be able to get freaking, somebody else who is like an expert in this field, or someone who's actually got an interest in this, like, another, somebody else, like another YouTuber even, or whoever, or, Loeb himself, somebody. I would love to be able to have someone else and do a whole like freaking just interview kind of conversation, brainstorm session, freaking just bouncing ideas, just sharing knowledge and talking about space and 3-1 Atlas in particular. But I would love that. So I don't know, I'm gonna see if I can find someone like that. Surely there's somebody out there, I don't know, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. And yeah, as always, remember to want to full is keep it off tap.